Very often you will find yourself in need to use some specific functions that were developed and they're stored in the library. In fact, that happens quite a lot in any programming language. And to do this, in Python, we're going to use the keyword import, which we're importing the modules that we want to work. For example, let's say we have the library math here, and we have a given number, let's say 25, and I want to do the square root of this number. You can either develop your own function, but it's always good not to reinvent the wheel. So since in this case we already have a function that does the task that we want, we can go there simply and just use the function that does whatever activity that we want. So in this case right here, we want to calculate the square root. So let's use the variable here, and there you go. We can use the square root because we are importing from the library the module math, right? You don't necessarily need to use the library, the module directly. You can also specify which modules or sub-functions or subclasses you're using from that library. So let's say here I want to use the function seal in floor. So when we're working with our code here, since I'm specifying which of these classes here I'm using it, I can simply say, well, just call this guy here directly, and let's take a look on the output. So we can call the function directly. And this is going to be valid for your code as well when you're developing your own modules and your own functions and classes, right? So, and of course, I mean, there are tons of libraries. You have NumPy, you have math, plotlib here, and so on and so forth. We're not here to go into all the libraries, of course. But the cool thing is, and you're going to see this very often. So let's say you declare a library, and then you give it an alias for this, like numpy is equal np, or let's use the same example that we had before. So we can do something like, hey, from math import seal as cc, why not? And then we go there and we use our alias instead of actually using the reference that we had before, which was seal, right? So we can do that cc now, and we have here 3.7, and you see that the result will be the same. And this is very, very common in Python. You give a bunch of new alias to the functions that you're using it, okay? We will have a module later on to talk about specific modules, but just keep in mind that if there's something you want to do in Python, probably there is a library or a module that you can use either to do the exact task that you need. We have SciPy, NLTK, the Stanford library, and a bunch of others. And even if the library does not provide something that is exactly what you need, you can use those modules to save you some work and don't start from scratch. Okay? So thank you and happy coding!